It's a good day for a great day for racing, and we're back once again for the Hyper Formula Championship, this time from the legendary Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit. It's the ABN British Grand Prix here on ABN Studios, race 5 of the third ABN Hyper Formula Championship season. The Grand Prix World Championships roll through the UK here this afternoon. The Silverstone Circuit has been through many changes, many alterations throughout its history. What was once an Air Force facility during World War II has become the staple facility for racing in the United Kingdom. 3.62 miles around here is a lap at Silverstone. These drivers have to do 34 laps here this afternoon. 70 degrees, the air temperature, the track temp, a very respectable, very adjustable 89 degrees. Should make it pretty easy for all the drivers racing later on in this event. Again, 34 laps. This is one of the shorter lap distances that we see throughout the season. As you see, practice starts going on underway just in the background there. 63% humidity, 7-mile-an-hour winds. All of it very manageable from the driver's side of things here this afternoon. The points, oh, they're interesting going into this event. Let's look at the driver's standings here after 4 races. This is race 5 of 12. Neil DeBacker leads the way with 99 points. Taylor Mills moving up to second after a good performance last week in Barcelona. Bianca Constantinou missing a second race in a row after being at one point a very hot hand in the championship conversation. Now needs to come back with blistering pace. Lilac Zier still in that number 2 car here this afternoon. Rachel Conkley also not present. Neither prismatic car present in this race. Tucker Sawyer, Josh Gaiman, Danny Brennan, Garnet Adams, and Derek Miller and Lily Peltier-Sharp round out the top 10. Peltier-Sharp is present for this race this afternoon. Gearcats back on the grid here in Britain. Same with Derek Miller, who qualified second for this event. He's going to try to add on to the Arasaka Arrowhead Racing points tally here. Same with Danny Brennan, the Irishman, for Taylor Mills Motorsports. Josh Gaiman also carrying the flag for Stepping Stone Motorsports here alongside Lilac Zier, who's going to try to accrue more than the 9 points she accrued a week ago. This is going to be a very interesting race, and as we browse and peruse, we're going to take a look at the team standings as well here. Taylor Mills Racing sits very firmly atop the board between DeBacker and Mills there. Stepping Stone Motorsports taking second place, holding on to that for dear life. Prismatic Motorsports, the absence of both Conkley and Adams, puzzling. They were in that fight for second place in the team's championship. That seems to be going to the wayside. Ascent Racing with both cars back in the fold. Eli Sasek and Tucker Sawyer here to duke it out in Silverstone. Taylor Mills Motorsports has not had 2 cars present for any race of the season up until now. Both Jessica Sabin and Danny Brennan present for the race here today. Nick Pressey in Motorsports, they have been struggling, but they have been accruing points throughout the season. Only 1 car present for the race this afternoon, and that is the 5 car of Nick Pressey. Arasaka Arrowhead Racing also only having 1 car once again. Derek Miller being the sole representative for that team at the moment. Then you have Dogbox Racing, who has not appeared since Canada. Gearcats back on the grid, as you mentioned there with Peltier-Sharp. They have a lot of points to try to make up here in that midfield fight. Volfreya Motorsports not expected to be back on the grid in any major capacity until a couple weeks from now. Neko Motors also not present on the grid. Neither is Rainbow Racing, the only team that has yet to score any points in the conversation here in the Hyper Formula Championship. Qualifying results, so pull them up on your screen. We'll talk about the starting grid in more depth here, but Neil DeBacker once again perfect in qualifying. Pole position once again for that Mazda. Derek Miller sitting second between the Taylor Mills Racing teammates. And then the development team, Danny Brennan and Jessica Sabin for Taylor Mills Motorsports, 4th and 5th on the grid. Peltier-Sharp, the French-born driver, will start this race from row 3 ahead of Tucker Sawyer, Lilac Zier, Josh Gaiman, Nick Pressey, and Eli Sasek. The 11 cars that qualified for this event. So it's going to be showtime here for the Hyper Formula Championship. Going to be a ton of fun to dive in here this afternoon. Derek Miller has been the fastest alongside Neil DeBacker here. We're going to see what the drivers can do. Tucker Sawyer also showing a lot of pace. Did not have it in qualifying, but has had the pace throughout the weekend as well. It's almost showtime to figure out who's got what here at the Silverstone circuit. Derek Miller, again, fastest right now in the practice times here in warm-up. The Toyota driver rolling through the corner here. One of the home drivers, Taylor Mills. Second fastest on the board at the moment. Again, we've seen the race starts be so critical to kick off a race here in the Hyper Formula Championship. And we've seen triumph turn into absolute tragedy. This team no stranger to both sides of that coin. Right now, Taylor Mills fastest in practice in final warm-up. Just went top of the board here this afternoon. Jessica Saban on the track as well. You've seen a lot of drivers that have just been doing practice starts here, trying to get things up and running. As everything begins again in earnest here momentarily. The Hyper Formula Championship here from the Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit. For everyone tuning in this Saturday afternoon, it's doubleheader today, as it will be for a lot of the season. Tonight at 8 p.m., it's the ARCS High Octane Series, the truck series for ARCS at Dover Motor Speedway in Dover, Delaware. Again, that's at 8 p.m. We hope you join us for that as well tonight. Truck racing at Dover has always been pretty fantastic here on ABN. It should be no different here tonight. 34 laps is what drivers have to deal with here at Silverstone. Again, lap count-wise, one of the shorter races on the calendar for the drivers to work through. And one of the easier tracks as far as managing turn one. Not very often we get a lot of lap one shenanigans here, and hopefully it stays that way. You're seeing there is Jessica Saban coming to a stop there on the front straightaway. So that means that it's about time to go over the starting grid here in Silverstone. It's Neil DeBacker and Derek Miller, the top of the board here in qualifying. Taylor Mills and Danny Brennan, they sit at the front in row 2. Lily Paltier-Sharp and Jess Saban in row number 3. Tucker Sawyer and Lilac Zier in row 4 alongside Josh Gaiman and Nick Pressey in the top 10. They round out row 5. Eli Sasek will be at the very back of the field. He'll be able to see any carnage unfold from the 11th spot. Not a bad place to be, all things considered. All cars should score points here. It's just a matter of who's going to be where at the finish of this race and who can stop Neil DeBacker from being undeniable once again and going once again back-to-back after winning at Barcelona a week ago. Time will tell. Almost showtime. 34 laps. We'll see the lights begin to give way here in Silverstone. Here we go, ready to go. The 5 red lights, center of your screen. Full red lights, and away we go. We're racing from the United Kingdom. The British Grand Prix is underway. Derek Miller immediately on the pounce, trying to take advantage of that slower start by DeBacker. But here comes Taylor Mills. Further on in the fray, Lily Paltier-Sharp, a huge send. Getting her around, I believe that was Danny Brennan. And trying to move up a spot early on. Early goings here. Tucker Sawyer under the attack of Neil DeBacker. Taylor Mills now leads for the first time. As everyone gets away cleanly. Outstanding stuff on this opening lap. They just got to hold it together here. Going through the critical S's, Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Before going down the hangar straight, Taylor Mills leads over Derek Miller and Neil DeBacher, who sit side by side. Approaching the Stowe corner. DeBacher gets back ahead. Miller not fighting that too awful hard as they go down the hill towards the Vale chicane for the first time at speed in the race. Taylor Mills, the British driver, leads lap 1. And it's not a great time, as I believe that's one of the drivers that came to a spin. That is Jessica Sabin that has come to a spin. And Josh Gaiman's race has come to a complete stop. What has happened to Josh Gaiman on lap number 1? We're going to see what happened to Josh Gaiman. And the 0 car for Stepping Stone Motorsports loses it on his own, and that's going to be a hard impact. It is. Up and over goes the 0 car, and Eli Sasek not far away from doing the same thing. What happens to Sasek in the Stowe corner? Oh, he just steps it out cold tires, big time. You see Jess Sabin. Cold tires, another victim, 3 of them in 1 lap. Absolutely critical there. Now teammates undisputed right now at the front of the field. It's Mills over to Bacher. In this 1-2 fight, Derek Miller in 3rd, Sawyer, Peltier, Sharp, Brennan, Zier, Pressey, and Sasek all still on the racetrack side by side between teammates through the Stowe corner towards the Vale chicane. Mills in the 16, DeBacher in the 15. Mills on cooldown from that push to pass, has already used it once in this race. Everyone has 200 seconds, largely 1 second per kilometer in this race. DeBacher's not yet used it. Mills trying to win at home, has not won yet this season, has podiums. Had the 1-2 last week, with their teammate DeBacher winning in Spain. See 5 cars still pretty close together here. Peltier Sharp, that gold Peugeot for Gear Cats, sitting in 5th. Mills leads the way over to Bacher, over Miller, who sits in the final podium place, over Tucker Sawyer, right now carrying the anchor for Ascent Racing. We're already on lap number 3. And this is going to be an absolute dogfight. Pit stops become possible at the end of lap number 5. We've seen different strategies this season as far as how you want to play that out. Do you want to pit later? Do you want to pit earlier? Here comes DeBacher trying to go for the race lead. Entering the Stowe corner, Taylor Mills drives it out wide. Super wide. And the Briton and the Belgian side by side through the Vale chicane. DeBacher has to hold it tight, but has the preferred line through the final corner. Clears just by a smidge and takes the lead to start lap number 4. But here comes Mills outside. Huge miss of the corner. Has to miss altogether here and is going to drop 2nd place as well to Derek Miller. Try to hold on and battle for that race lead. That is gone now. And here comes Miller looking for a 2nd place fight. Sawyer in the wings as well. 3-car fight for second. Pelletier Sharp just further behind in 5th. But if these 3 fight the way they're going to, Pelletier Sharp will be right there in the mix. Don't forget that gold car. That gold Peugeot. Going to be in this mix. Taylor Mills gets away from Miller. In a decent spot there. To the Cops corner. Towards the S's of Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. DeBacher, what a gap he's already built up. 1.8 seconds because of that hiccup from Mills. Obviously, home race for Taylor. You know how important this race is. Miller in 3rd, Sawyer in 4th, then it's Sharp and Brennan, Zier, Pressey, and Sasek. The 9 cars still running. Jessica Saban out of this race early. Same with Josh Gaiman. Gaiman's car going up and over in the S's. On the, it looks like the exit of Chapel. Saban through the final corner. The club corner is what it's called there. That's where she spun out and tied the wall, and her race came to an end with just 10th place to the record. Mills sitting in 2nd place, just trying to hold on to the 2nd place at the moment as things stand. Pelletier Sharp not too far behind. Meanwhile, Danny Brennan has his mirrors full. He's on push to pass. Lilac Zier just behind. Not on that push to pass. Right on board with Lilac Zier, the fill-in driver for Bianca Constantinou. As Brennan sits just up the road there. What a close fight this is right now. This is on board with Tucker Sawyer, the number 12 machine for Ascent Racing, the Honda. Looking at the podium places just up ahead. Sawyer wants to be in one of those places, but he's going to have to do some work to get there. Mills and Miller sitting for 2nd and 3rd there at the moment. DeBacher just up the road, and in view for Tucker Sawyer as well is Neil DeBacher still. DeBacher, fastest lap of the race so far, 138.58 for the Belgian. Sawyer, the fastest sector 1 time. Fast sectors are kind of split up between various different drivers. DeBacher's got a couple. Sawyer's got 1. Danny Brennan's got 1. Here, Sucker has to lift there and just try to just lower that speed range because he closes in so well here through the S's. Doing an outstanding job there is Sawyer. 30 cars under a blanket, entering the Stowe corner. Taylor Mills leads these trio cars. But she is under pressure and severe duress to kick off the start of this race. DeBacher leads still. Personal best by Miller. 139.45. Hasn't touched Taylor Mills' fastest lap time. Taylor Mills has a fastest lap of 139.19. She just has not been able to hit that consistently. Again, battle for second ongoing. And it is a 3-car fight. Further back, Lilac Zier had a chance at Danny Brennan. It's not close enough to make a fight there yet. That is for the 6th spot. Towards the S's of Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Here we go. This is where Sawyer is the fastest of the 3. Miller in the middle. As they roll down the hangar straight. You see Peltier Sharp has really lost touch with this group, almost in the clutches of Brennan and Zier now for that battle for the, what could be a top 5. Everyone in the top 4 has access to push to pass. No one has used it in the last few laps here to start lap 8. Rapid pace being set here in Silverstone. DeBacher leads by 4.6 seconds over this group. Set a 1:38.33 as his best lap so far. He is the fastest man on track. With this trio putting together some fun. 3 different teams: Taylor Mills Racing, Arrowhead Racing, and Ascent Racing in this group. On the push to pass now is Derek Miller. Trying to keep in with Taylor Mills. And for those unfamiliar with the Hyper Formula cars, LEDs, the top of the roll bar, giving you a little bit of a glimpse as to where everyone's at on the push to pass or overtake. A solid green, like what's on Taylor Mills' car up ahead, indicates that push to pass is ready to use. A slow blink, like what's on Derek Miller's car right now, means that that overtake is in cooldown. When it's rapid flash, like what we saw with Miller when he first used it, that means it's in use. If it turns red at any point, that means he's got less than 20 seconds left in the push to pass. Obviously, if it grays out completely and doesn't ever come back on, that means that they're out of push to pass altogether. Pretty easy to see who's on what at the moment. Car coming down pit lane, Peltier Sharp, early pit stop, legal pit stop for tires. Getting that out of the way, and now she'll have clean real estate to try to reel in and chip back into this group. Derek Miller definitely trying to take it to the 16 of Taylor Mills. This is the closest battle on the racetrack, and it's a 3-car fight still. Tucker Sawyer's dropped off just a little bit from Derek Miller, but Sawyer's not just push to pass at all in this race. Really sort of saving it up right now. Miller's gone through the cooldown, so now he can use push to pass again. Everyone on a little bit of an island outside of these 3. Neil DeBacher up ahead. His gap is opened up to about 6.2 over Mills, his teammate there. Miller and Sawyer battling for the steps on the podium at the moment. Now staying honest here, Sawyer has dropped off pretty significantly now. About a second and a half off the pace of Miller. Oh, trouble for Pelletier Sharp. Oh, that's a huge torn up race car there for Pelletier Sharp. And Nick Pressy's gone off track there. That is out of the exit of Chapel. But what has happened to Pelletier Sharp? This is through the final corner. Oh, it's going to hurt. Yep. Huge time crash there for Pelletier Sharp. He's going to end her return to the series quite short. And you see now Pressy and Sasek battling for the 7th spot. As Dylan Mills and Derek Miller stand alone, now battling for 2nd place at the moment. As the laps tick away here. Taylor Mills right now sitting. It really has endured the pressure Derek Miller's thrown on right now, and now they're both kind of in a staging formation. Ooh, really good closing in there by Miller, but really throws off their exiting sector 1. A lot of checks and balances here for Mills and Miller. Seems Derek Miller's a lot better in the first half of the lap, whereas Taylor Mills can really kind of stretch up just a little bit in the second half of the lap. Eli Sasek with an issue. Back up and running though, that 11 car. Was on the tail end of the 5 of Nick Pressy, and now 10.6 behind as Neil DeBacher continues to lead by almost 8 seconds at this point. Derek Miller and Taylor Mills once again still duking it out here. Miller once again back within a half a second. Really close here, and not on push to pass either. Yeah, they're really close, almost to the gearbox here. Through the Vale chicane. Almost approaching the end of the first half of this race. An outstanding work here between Mills and Miller. Taylor and Derek still duking out here for that second spot. They've pulled a 2-second gap there on Tucker Sawyer, who's really gone into a tire management situation for Ascent Racing. They're just kind of holding on to 4th place and really kind of hoping that things fall off the rails a little bit. Miller's still sitting just 4/10 away in this fight for second place. Miller did use push to pass again. Let's see, Miller on cooldown. Taylor Mills has not used push to pass outside the opening lap of this race, and it shows. Car in pit lane. Noah DeBacher. No, mind Tucker Sawyer in pit lane. It was Sawyer that dropped down to pit lane, which was kind of expected. We saw the drop off there for Sawyer kind of just beginning to take hold there. He was dropping a decent amount of pace per lap, but now he's in pit lane. The first of the front runners to do so. DeBacher, Mills, Miller, Brennan your top 4, 0 up the top 5 provisionally, but pit stops to come still from most of the field. 3 cars out, Peltier, Sharp, Sabin, and Gaiman, all out of this race. DeBacher obviously not really stressed at the moment. Going for personal best, 137.79, the current fastest lap of the race. Looks like Lilac Zier now in the pit lane. Indeed, she is. And Sawyer's had an incident. A huge spin for Tucker Sawyer. Not what he needed. Just a huge time spin there. Let's take a look at it and see what happened to Tucker Sawyer. This is on push to pass, approaching the Stowe corner where we saw a couple of drivers have issues earlier. This is where his teammate Eli Sadzik had issues. So both the Ascent cars caught out in the Stowe corner. Derek Miller on push to pass again. Oh, really good shot to try to go for second place through the Stowe corner. And Taylor Mills going to immediately come back to it on the Vale chicane. She's trying to get around here, back for second place. Miller shoves out wide. They stay side by side around the club corner. And they'll stay side by side even still. Contact there. And Mills holds on to the second spot. A really good battle there. They duked it out there, got a little bit physical. Mills holds on over Miller for second place. And that obviously gives DeBacher a very outstanding lead here, just at the halfway point. 13.6 seconds right now is the gap. It's a solid one. Derek Miller being frustrated here in this fight. He's going to come down pit lane here. Undercut. Now in effect. Now he needs to avoid what's happened already to multiple drivers in this race. Pressy struggling as well on the exit there of the Stowe corner. There's Danny Brennan, Lilac Zier, and then there's Tucker Sawyer. All of them have come down pit lane, and you see where Tucker Sawyer's fallen to after his spin. Derek Miller needs to not make the same mistake. Miller right now sitting in the 4th position. Has gotten through the critical part of the race. And that was the cold tires on that opening lap on that undercut. Sawyer's still just struggling as Eli Sasek comes down pit lane. No, Eli Sasek has crashed. That's what happened to the Sasek. Loops it. Doesn't really tags anything, just decides that he's going to go with the ghost there. Yeah, and just decides that that's sort of it. So Derek Miller up to the second spot. Taylor Mills came down pit lane a lap later. And Taylor Mills had a very slow stop, 11.8 seconds. DeBacher now in pit lane. So Miller gained a whole ton. On that undercut after a long pit stop time for Taylor Mills. DeBacher in pit lane now. The race leader should still be protected. Once again, unable to go for the Grand Slam after not being able to lead the opening laps of this race, but has turned it around pretty significantly. So DeBacher leads, and leads by a lot. 17 seconds the gap. Derek Miller has an 8-second gap over Taylor Mills. Everyone definitely settling down in this race. But everyone making their pit stops around the halfway point. No one waiting until lap 28 to try to make a pit stop. Everyone pretty well getting it done out of the way early. Sawyer's gotten around Zier here. He's got to try to climb up through the field as much as he can. Again, at one point he was in the top 4. Now just trying to get back to that point if he can. Has to get around Danny Brennan to do so. Sawyer right now in the fight for the top 4. Right now sitting in 5th. Sasek out of this race now. Joins Peltier, Sharp, Saban, and Gaiman. So Sawyer is the driver carrying the anchor full stop right now for Ascent Racing. And there is work to do. The month of August stays busy. We head to Magny-Cours in 7 days for the French Grand Prix, and then we end off the month of August in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Right after that, we have the German Grand Prix on September 7th. Docker leads by 17.6 seconds over Derek Miller. Taylor Mills on the podium at the moment and secure by a pretty stable amount. Sawyer trying to close in on 4th place. And Danny Brennan not too far away from Taylor Mills. That's how bad Mills' pit stop was in the middle stanza of this race. Brennan trying to just hold on to that top 4 spot. About to see, as you see it pop up on your screen, the battle for the 4th spot. Now within a second. With the pace that Sawyer was showing at the early start of this race, I was imagining that this would be a way quicker reel in by Sawyer, but it's taken several laps to get to this point. A little bit latency for Danny Brennan. Will make that a little bit of a struggle, and Sawyer will have to try to find his way around it. Sawyer right to the gearbox almost to Brennan. As DeBacher sets another personal best in this race, 137.375. He is on a rocket ship at the moment. Opened up almost a 19-second gap. Right now, Sawyer still struggling. He's right on board. He's with Sawyer. He's got to try to find the Irishman. There is Brennan who wants to get on track, and then got to also find a way to get around him. Keep an eye, bottom of your screen. If Sawyer uses push to pass, you'll see it. The 3 blue lights. Three blue lights mean that push to pass is active and ready to go. He's trying to not use push to pass to get around the Vauxhall of Danny Brennan. Tenths and closing down the international start-finish line. Sawyer right now sitting in the 5th position again, trying to go for 4th here. Trying to find a way to make it happen. Saw briefly that he did use push to pass to close the gap down. This is almost that part of the race where everyone's, I think, going to try to close in a lot. Also, don't neglect Lilac Zier sitting right now in the 6th spot. Close fight here, the 24 and the 12. The 24 of Brennan, the 12 of Sawyer. We are approaching those final laps. DeBacher is on one at the moment. 137.146. So once again, have to play a little bit of a guessing game as to where Danny Brennan is in this equation. There he is, very close once again. And Brennan's used push to pass. Side by side. This is the move Tucker Sawyer was looking for, and he's got it, and he almost bobbled it. And you see he's on push to pass as Brennan sits on cooldown. But Brennan not gonna take that hesitantly. Side by side. Approaching Magnus and Beckett's. Still side by side. This is gonna be a tight complex to try to make this work. Brennan couldn't quite hold it there for 4th. Zier's in the mix as well. All three of them have used push to pass over the last lap. Now in cooldown, Brennan will have access to it first. Doesn't need access around the outside of Stowe Corner. Taking 4th right back. 3 cars in this fight now. Brennan gets push to pass back, approaching the club corner in the home straightaway. Sawyer has to wait. Brennan doesn't hit the button there, so he still has it available, but so will Sawyer. Zier now available for push to pass as well. Brennan once again holding off 2 cars here in this fight, and Sawyer pushing the envelope. Really good fight going on here for this 4th spot. DeBacher sits 21 seconds clear of Derek Miller at the front of the field. It's about a 4th, though, absolutely encapsulating. Laps tick down, 5 to go for this group. Brennan still holds on. All 3 of them have push to pass available, and at least more than 20 seconds. Nobody in the red. Brennan trying to defend. Latency once again affecting the Irishman. But it did not stop Sawyer from taking a chance and for a moment getting around for that 4th spot. Through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Once again, in this fight for the top 5. DeBacher once again, fast lap, almost into the sub 137s, almost into the 96-second bracket for a lap time here, which is outstanding pace. DeBacher, one of the best, and he's showing it right now. Sawyer really dancing it around between the Vale chicane and the last corner. 4 laps to go. 3 manufacturers, Vauxhall, Honda, and Ford. Sawyer had a lot of issues trying to save tires. He was one of the first ones that came down pit lane. He came down pit lane on lap 15. Brennan with a 2-lap advantage. Zier with a 1-lap advantage. If you're going to be feeling the tire wear, it's going to be here. Sawyer sitting right now still in 5th, but still in that range, still in that fight. He's only got a couple more opportunities to do this. He's in a cross line with 3 laps to go in this fight. Zier on push to pass. See the flashing light from that 3rd car in line. I think Zier recognizes he needs that push to pass. Brennan used it now on cooldown, which means a lot of drivers shaping up for a 1-lap gasp for all the marbles here at the end. Which puts Sawyer in a not great position. If he can't find a way to make a pass happen this lap, he may not have another chance at it. All the drivers in this group, 4th, 5th, and 6th, fighting their tails off for it, and all 3 of them within a second. Brennan on cooldown, 0 on cooldown. Sawyer with the piece of usage left to go. DeBakker's taken 2 laps to go, and he has skipped the 136s altogether. 135.90. The new fast lap of the race for Neil DeBakker. Clock ticking just narrowly now. They're about to approach the final lap here. They're down the international straightaway. They're coming to the white flag. DeBakker's taking the white flag. He is on the final lap. This group here has a little bit more time to go. DeBakker untouchable in this race outside the opening stanza. White flag in the air for this group. Sawyer struggling a lot through the Vale chicane. Sawyer, I think, feeling the effects of those tires, but Brennan also a little bit squirrely. Push to pass in use. Zero's out. Zero's out of push to pass. Brennan still has some of the take that he may not need to use. With how much Sawyer's struggling on the push to pass to close the gap. Take a look there. Neil DeBakker's going to come around, and he's going to win the British Grand Prix with a 25-second buffer. Derek Miller will sit in second comfortably. Taylor Mills will round out the podium. But how is 4th, 5th, and 6th going to sit? Answer that question pretty safely with Danny Brennan and Tucker Sawyer fighting it out for 4th and 5th. Lilac Zero out to sit with 6th. Unless something happens in the Vale chicane here on the last lap. Not enough, and Zier with a slide through the Vale chicane will end up securing 6th place. Danny Brennan hold on to 4th, Tucker Sawyer in the top 5. Will be how it all shakes out here. Outstanding work here for the group. All right. A fantastic race here. Let's go ahead. Let's look into the running order in full here tonight. Neil DeBacker, Derek Miller, Taylor Mills, the top of the field here tonight. They did an outstanding job. The top three, especially Danny Brennan, Tucker Sawyer, Lilac Zier, they did a phenomenal job fighting for those top 5 positions. And it ends up being Danny Brennan over Sawyer, over Zier when it mattered most there. Neil DeBacker, to his credit, once again, perfect on the points. Grabbing the full maximum out here tonight. And again, outstanding stuff there for Neil DeBacker, who now sits well and truly clear on the field. Nick Pressey, Eli Sasek. An outstanding job there. And obviously we're looking at the qualifying results. By mistake, we're calculating all the points here in the ABN Studios booth. But there's actual results. DeBacker, Miller, Mills, Brennan, Sawyer, Zier, as we mentioned there, Nick Pressey, the last driver to take the checkered flag there, Eli Sasek deciding that he was going to call his day early. Lily Paultier Sharp, Jess Sabin, and Josh Gaiman all out early in this race as well. But the big thing is all about the points. What do the points look like for the here and the now? And the here and now is Neil DeBacker with 125 points, sitting undeniable at the top of the board. An outstanding drive for them. Taylor Mills in second with 80 points. Bianca Constantinou still third, but a very distant third ahead of Tucker Sawyer. Rachel Conkley will drop a spot after not participating today. Derek Miller, Danny Brennan, Josh Gaiman, Garnet Adams, and Lily Paultier Sharp, your top 10 in the points, as Pressey also gained some points there, up in 11th. Eli Sasek in 12th. Lilac Zier, 13th place. After 2 races for Zier. Bruce Silva in 14th. Bryce Saucier, 15th. After missing today's race, Jess Sabin in 16th. Rebecca Rennie, 17th. Luna Magnild in 18th. Bobby Corvalli, 19th. And Mike Robinson in 20th. A bunch of drivers that have scored points in this season so far. And then the team's championship standings. Taylor Mills Racing almost 100 points clear. Undeniable at the top of the standings there here this afternoon. Stepping Stone Motorsports with 110 points to Taylor Mills Racing's 204. Absolutely wild, the gap that has been put on the field here at this point in time. Prismatic Motorsports scoring a big old 0 here tonight after not attempting this race. Ascent Racing, Taylor Mills Motorsports, 4th and 5th. Closing that gap in altogether. Nick Pressey Motorsports with 1 car present tonight, also closing in a little bit. 50 points now for that team. Aerosaka Arrowhead Racing closing in as well as Gear Cats, who scored some points over Dogbox, Valfreya, Neco Motors, and Rainbow Racing, none of which have scored points over the last couple rounds here this afternoon. That'll do it from us here from Silverstone. Be back here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for the ARC's High Octane Series from Dover Motor Speedway for race 2 of 12 in that season. On behalf of everyone here at ABN Studios, for everyone here for the ABN Hyper Formula Championship, thank you so much. We'll see you later tonight here in Dover. Stay safe, stay healthy, have fun this weekend. We'll see you next time in 7 days' time for Magny-Cours. So long, everybody.